Hey everyone, welcome into Mid Morning. So today we are talking about finances and money. That's a big topic in many households, but when do you get your kids started in teaching them the right things they should do? Mr. Scott Ferguson is here from Financial Concepts, and he's going to tell us exactly what we need to know. So thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thanks for letting me be here today. Greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so you have two boys of your own, correct?
I got two boys and a little girl.
And a little girl.
Yeah.
Okay, we love that. So what are their ages?
I've got an 18-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Oh, so okay, we
got a
can
wide
actually
spread.
hit everyone on this. All right, Mr. Scott, so I guess first of all, when do you start teaching your kids about money?
I mean, I think as early as you can, right?
Okay.
Now, can you start when they're a toddler? No. Right? But my little girl who's 5, yes, we can start with that, right?
Okay.
So we've been losing teeth in our house lately. So the tooth fairy has come by. So we've had some tooth fairy money, and she's trying to learn, hey, well, I want to go to the store and buy this. Mm-hmm. Well, those dollars don't add up to that, right? So she's got to save, right? So the sooner you can start teaching that, I think is a great thing.
Interesting. So also let's speak about, we have a lot of these Venmo or Cash App cards that parents are giving to kids. What are our thoughts about that? And then what do we need to teach a child about, I guess, having a card?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're a great way for them to get started experiencing money and having some financial independence, which is what we want. We want them to be independent with money, especially as they become young adults and adults. We don't want them dependent upon us for money, right? So it's a great way to learn that. But what worries me, or I guess gives me a little bit of a pause with the cards, is they can just swipe and swipe and swipe,
Truly.
right? So they've got to keep a track of what they're spending, right? They've got to know, okay, if you put $50 on the card for the weekend for them to go to the ballpark, well, they can't go spend $45 at lunchtime, buying their friends treats and all those kind of things. My son's actually done that before, right? We sent him to the concession stand. He bought everybody food. And it was like, wait a second, where's the change? There's no change left, right? And so they've got to be able to keep track of that, but it's a way for them to learn to budget. Okay, because they are spending, they've got a finite amount of money on that prepaid card. And if they do spend it all, well, that's one of those hard life lessons. Hey, there's no money left. But it's a way to teach them that, because we joked to them before, when you're going to work and you're getting a paycheck, if you spend it all, you don't get to go back to your employer and say, hey, give me some more, right? So you've got to make that money last.
Okay, so let's talk about your 18-year-old. I feel like kids, obviously, when we give them money, they might not realize it's dad or mom's money that made this. So I guess, how do you get them to understand that?
Well, at 18, that's when they can get out there and they can start doing some jobs on their own, right? And so I encourage, I have encouraged my son to get out there, whether it's, mowing grass, whether it's working for somebody else, get out there and start earning money. And when you see that they're starting to earn money on their own, they're not as quick to spend their money.
That is
They'll spend
true.
your money, but they won't spend their money as quick. But it's a way for them to learn, hey, I can't just go blow through this money because I worked hard to get it. So they're a little bit more, I guess, cautious in their spending patterns, or at least I've seen that with mine.
And I guess lastly, before we get a break, so talking about savings account, when should we start those for kids?
I mean, I think you want to start a savings account or an investment account for your child as soon as you can, right? But I always caution parents. I'm a parent. I want to do what's best for my kids. I want them to have a better life than me, but I don't want to hurt myself by saving for their future, right? So it does not have to be big amounts that you're putting in there. It can be $25 a month. It can be $10 a month.
Little bit,
just a little bit, but little bit adds up to big numbers over time. But I always think to have big money, you got to have a big money to get started with. In reality, it's that snowball that keeps getting bigger and bigger.
All right, Mr. Scott, thanks so much for coming in. We'll be right back.
Thank you.